This is Mark Guerrero. Welcome to East LA Music Stories. My guest is Dale Villavicencio, percussionist extraordinaire. Played for 21 years with Tierra with Rudy Salas, and from about 1999 to 2020. He currently has his own group, Bongo Funk, and he plays with Tierra Legacy, David Salas's group. And welcome, Dale. How you doing?
Hey Mark, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me, man. I feel honored to be a part of your show.
Thank you. So I understand your dad was a musician, and strangely for a Latino, he was a country western kind of guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, just like your dad, he was a guitar player, singer, and yeah, he played country western. Hank Williams and just the old school stuff. And he was first one that I saw that inspired me to want to become a musician.
And he wore the whole outfit, right?
Oh yeah, and he looked like Gene Autry.
Um, so you were born in San Diego, but as an infant, your family moved to Oakland in the Bay Area,
Yes, yes. Well,
and
my
that's where
mom
you.
did.
Oh, your mom did. So your dad was riding the wild range or something.
He stayed in San Diego. But yeah, we moved to there when I was like 4 or 5 months old, maybe somewhere
Hmm.
around there. So
So you were
that's
mainly raised by your mom.
yeah.
And did
She
your
raised
dad show
she
up now and
raised
then?
twice a week, once a year.
Oh, okay.
For 2 weeks, once a year, he would take
Hmm.
us. But
Okay.
my mom raised five of us, three sisters and one brother, and I'm the youngest.
And what attracted you to percussion?
Um, when I was in grammar school, I was in choir, and then I was trying to get into the band, and I tried to play sax, I couldn't blow it right. I tried to play trumpet, couldn't blow it right. I saw a pair of bongos sitting over there, and I just started playing around with that, and it just seemed real easy and natural for me to play time, and just to be a drummer percussionist. It just like I was meant to be.
At what point did you have a whole drum set, or did you ever have a full drum set?
Well, it was funny because like I had a friend that lived right across the street. His name was Dale, so he was Big Dale, I was Little Dale, and they had a drum set up in their bedroom, and his brother played guitar. So we would go over there, and he would try to, we'd try to jam and stuff. So I had a pair of drums set up, across the street from me because I didn't have any myself. My first set of timbales, I had to babysit for those. Yeah,
How old were
so
you by the time you had that? Congas and timbales.
10 or 11, I want to say, somewhere 10 or 11. Tito Puente Slingerlands. They were like,
Mm.
I mean, timbales weren't even a thing in 70, 69. So it was that they were, congos were out, there was congos, but it wasn't a lot of timbale players. That's why I kind of choose that instrument first. And because of Santana with Chapito and Leo Rosales from Malo and stuff. So, I
Mhm.
mean, that was what, really gave me the bug, to play percussion.
And you were up there in that area where they were.
Yeah.
So what was your first group that you were in?
Yeah, I was thinking about that today when I knew we were going to talk. I played drums, which I think my friend had drums, and that's why, and he let me use them. And he was the bass player and a guitar player, and there was three of us, and we played a carnival at the Catholic church. I think we split $25 or something like that. Man, it was like the first time we played. We only knew a couple Jimi Hendrix songs and a couple other songs, and we just play them over and over again. So that was actually the very first band, but I can't remember what we called ourselves.
Did you have any training before that?
Oh no, I'm totally self-taught.
Okay.
Totally self-taught. I mean, took a few tips from a few people along the road, and learned from there and asked questions and stuff. But actually, the first stuff the first timbale stuff I learned was from Benny Velarde, who was a band leader and a salsa band up in the Bay Area, and he had his own salsa radio station. His son was married to my sister, so he's the one that kind of showed me the ropes in the beginning about cascara and cowbells and clave and all that stuff when I was young. So that's the kind of only you know lessons I kind of took, but they weren't really lessons like paying for them. They were just mostly tips.
What was the first band that was an organized, pretty good band that you joined?
Well, that would be a band called Zacate because we thought that was cool because you
Grass?
know, it was the 70s, yeah. And I was with a friend of mine named Frank Paras, who's a drummer, and he just liked what I did. Saw me, I don't know where he saw me, but he just like, I want you to play in the band. I'm like, all right. The first band I played with and got paid professionally was there, and I was 11, 12 years old,
Wow.
maybe. Yeah. And then from there, I went to play with a band called Grito, which had Shiela E in it.
Wow.
And she was in I always say she was in the first band I played with, but it was so close together. It was like when I was 14, I started playing with Grito and Sheila and my friend Joe Cano and Tam Sagayan, the Congo player. We were like kind of the original like Santana tribute bands before that was even a thing, you know. That was what we wanted to do. We wanted to be like Santana. We cover the songs like to a T sometimes, man. So, and I was very fortunate to be with Sheila and, have her father and Pete and Coke Escovedo. They would help us get gigs and stuff and support us. And so it was, we'd open up for them a couple times and stuff. So it was pretty cool, you know.
Was Sheila E. a teenager then too?
Yeah, she's the same age as me, actually. So she was 14.
Wow.
And that was for maybe 2, 3 years. And then she went off to play with Billy Cobham and come function and did all kind of different things. But I was part of her beginning, and also mentioned in her book that her memoir, She Lee's book, she mentions me in her book, so I was pretty kind
Yeah.
of proud of that.
So what happened to you musically after that?
After that, I think I got with a band called Tentacion, which was like the Temptations in Spanish. It was a salsa band with a friend of mine named Luis. I can't think of his last name, a guitar player. So we played the salsa circuit there. And actually, Juan came in, and Sheila's brother came in and started playing with us. And it was Juan Escovedo and Tentacion. So we were playing around Bay Area, different salsa clubs in San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. So that was kind of like the next step that I went. Then I was also becoming a chef. I was starting to be in the restaurant business. So I was kind of doing both for a
How
minute
old are
there.
you when you started studying to be a chef?
20s maybe, 20, 21, somewhere around
Did
there.
you study formally or did you learn on the job?
Both. I was self-trained, but I went to culinary school in Hyde Park in New York, and then in Napa Valley at the CIA there in Greystone in Napa Valley. So I have some real training. People trip out when I say that. Oh, you were a chef? I was an executive chef for the Marriott and the Hilton. But I started off as a dishwasher, a line cook, and kind of worked my way up and learned the whole aspect of the kitchen.
Well, I've
So
seen where you can still whip up quite a dish, now and
yeah,
then.
yeah.
I've seen
Love
it.
to do it for family and friends when they come over to my house and stuff. So people say, "Would you rather go back?" I go, "No, I'm too old now to do it." I think.
Yeah. So, when did you move to LA and how did that happen?
Well, that kind of happened. I got away when we became a chef more. I kind of got away from music for a little bit. I missed it, and then I started playing again. Uh, in the circuit again. I go, hey, I want to get back in, playing. I already learned what I wanted to learn, and I was playing around for a little while and with different bands. And my sister just said, like, why don't you move down here? There's all kind of. My sister lived in LA, so why don't you move down here? I was down there for one of her wedding anniversaries, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Sounds like a plan. So I just decided to move to LA and just say like, we'll see what happens down there. Everybody's like, don't come down there. There's so much competition. No, I'm different. I think I have my own style. I said I have my own personality, and I said, I'll find a way. I'll find a way to fit in. I've always been a chameleon my whole life, anyways. I could kind of fit into the situation wherever I'm at. So
Early mid 20s or how old are you when you came?
no, no. Actually, that time goes. I was in 30s.
So in your 20s, did you play in other groups up in Oakland?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, just different people. I mean, I played with the Peter Escovedo Orchestra. Like I said, Tentacion. I think I went back to playing with them, and just doing sub gigs. Around. Didn't really have a certain band, you know, that I played with, just freelanced.
And what gig did you get first in LA? What band did you join first down there?
It was called Pacific Breeze. It was my brothers R&B band, you know, and I played percussion with them, and you know that was kind of my first introduction, you know, into LA, you know, because I mean I hung out with Sheila and Lava Lees and stuff for a little bit when I first moved here, but and then I moved out towards, I lived in San Dimas, so I was more out in the inland area. Just started to know people out there. So, and I was still being a chef down here. I still worked for the Marriott down here too when I first came. So I'm just looking for people to play. And then I ended up meeting Billy's uncle. Billy's uncle, I can't think of his name right now. Martin, the drummer Martin. So you should go check out my nephews over. They're called DW3 over at Zendejas, and I went and met them, and went over there and told me, hey, I played with your uncle, man, because we were playing in Whittier, Uptown Whittier, with this other Latin jazz band, and I go, your uncle, you know, told me to come check you guys out. And he goes, oh, right on. He goes, you play? I go, yeah, I play a little timbales, percussion. And they go, you want to sit in? I'm like, because I think it was just timbales, because Billy just played timbales. So I sat in, and they were kind of impressed. They're like, wow, dude, you're really good. I go, well, thank you. I'm like, I've been doing it for a little while, so I'm new to the area. So that would be the next band would be DW3. And I kind of played with them for a while just for free because I had money. I was a chef, you know, and then I kind of got in the band and started getting paid and stuff. That was my introduction into theater, actually.
But you're talking about Billy Mondragon, right?
Yeah.
And was it Eric too was in the band too?
Yeah, Eric.
His brother?
Yep. Eric, yep.
And who was the third one at that time?
There's different people. Mike Jimenez, what's it, how the kid he just passed away. Dennis Jimenez was
That's Little Ray's son.
yeah, Dennis. He was there in the beginning, and I think he left, and somebody else came in, and they had a few other different people
And
come in.
DW3 stands for Down with Three.
Yes, yeah.
And so I didn't realize that you played with them before theater.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I even knew David Salas before I got into theater, and recorded with him through Billy, through David's studio, and did some percussion for some TV shows and stuff like that. We worked together even before I met Rudy. First time I met Rudy was at the Latin Legends Live at the Hop, and I went with Billy. Was hanging out. And I was, hey, my name's Dale, man. If you need a percussionist, I'm your man. You know. He just kind of looked at me like, "Well, okay." And so that was the first time I met him, and it was amazing because like when was that? 96 maybe, what was it, like when that came out, and like 3 years later I was playing with theater. So it's through Billy got me the audition because they got rid of the other guy they had, Valenzuela guy, and he said it's open, and Billy goes, hey, I know a guy, you know, fit perfect with the band and stuff. So he's the one that asked me, you know, he goes, you want to audition? I go, yeah. I got the Latin Legends live CD, kind of like what Sal said, and I just learned everything. I learned the whole parts, did everything. So when I went into the audition, I nailed it. They're like, damn, you sound like we've been playing with us for a
Smart
couple of
move.
years. I go, I did my homework, you know. So from that point on, he was like, yeah, you know,
So who were the
be a
members
part
of
of
the
the
band
band.
at that time that you can remember?
Valamir, Roger Rivas, Aaron Ballesteros, um, Billy, Jeff, Victor, um, Bub, and Rudy.
Let's do the instruments. Bub, Rudy Villa was sax player,
Yeah.
Aaron Ballesteros drums.
Yes.
Who were some of the other ones you mentioned? Victor Cisneros
Cisneros,
sax. Who else did you mention?
Jeff Lewis, trumpet,
Jeff Lewis, trumpet.
trumpet, and Roger Rivas on keys.
Roger Rivas,
And then also Isaac was in the band. Isaac Avila. He was
singer.
the other singer, you know, that was doubling up with Rudy. But Billy and Isaac were both there at the time, actually.
Isaac
Yeah.
passed away.
half of the whole band, like Sal said, half
Oh
the whole
yeah.
band is gone. I have posters, and I look at it, and I'm like, geez,
Yeah, Aaron's
it's
gone.
like half of everybody's gone.
Uh,
Steve Followmere, the
he passed
original.
away too. Steve Fallon.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Isaac was the first one in like 2000 or something,
Yeah.
2001, somewhere around there. Because I was in there in '99. Could have been like 2003 or something. Because I toured with them for like 3 or 4 years. But
And
yeah,
so
man, it was just meant to be for some reason. Because even people when I first moved there said I looked like Steve Salas.
well,
And
you kind of
even
look
when
like
I'm in the band, people are like, you look like part of the family. I go, I know,
yeah,
I
I can
get
see that.
even the mom and dad said, "Well, you look like my son." So, and so I was like, well, I guess it was meant to be for some reason.
Yeah.
I just kind of fit in so perfect. So it
Now,
just,
did you become the zoot suiter right away, or did you evolve?
no, no, no. That was the Manuel Martinez, the merchandise guy used to do it. But after I saw him do it, after a couple of years, I think when I started doing it after a couple of years, like, oh, I can do that. I go, I can do it better.
You,
He didn't really try to learn. He just kind of went up there and had a sax with some lights on it and stuff. But I saw how the crowd, dug it. I go, man, if that was done really good and, put a little effort in it to kind of do a little, 1 minute, two
style.
minute little show. So Rudy goes, go ahead. I go, all right. So I ended up going to El Pachuco and getting me a zoot suit and watched the zoot suit movie and learned some moves and how the attitude and stuff, and just kind of start doing that and hone it down. Then just became part of the act, and people used to always, what color are you gonna wear at the Greek, or we got money, what color are you gonna bet on, what you're gonna wear and stuff, and it just became a thing. I didn't know. I mean, it's like I didn't even know that was going to become that, but I guess it was missing because Bobby Neverete was the original.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And I always give him credit. I go, I'm just keeping the tradition up. I'm not the original. And we're actually back together now, both doing it now with Tierra Legacy. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
So
Bobby Navarrete. Yeah, he was with them when they were at Carnegie Hall back when they had their big hit and everything on
yeah,
their albums. The original Zoot Suit guy. You can rock that Zoot Suit, man. You style it really great, man.
yeah. Well, like your dad also,
Oh, he did it too at a point. Yeah.
Yeah. We both met one time and played on the same show, and I was shaking my chain or twirling my chain, and we were posing together and like having a pachuco off.
There you go. So, what were some of the venues you played when you first joined? Did you play locally and do some touring?
With who? With the other?
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez, man, I think on my only bucket list, I don't think we played as a Hollywood Bowl, but from Ford Amphitheater to Greek Theater to Dorothy Chandler Pavilion to the Shrine Auditorium, Coliseum. Um, yeah, geez, where else? I mean, every big venue, you know, the Santa Barbara Bowl, um, down San Diego. I mean, all the House of Blues back in the day. We used to play the House of Blues in there, but we toured all over and played big arenas and everything too. So that was fun because we all kind of stepped up to the plate when we came with all these groups, and I think we were the most polished entertainers of most of them there. And people really used to get the crowd to participate and stuff. And I would come out and do my thing and stuff. It was just, people really dug it. But as far as venues, man, almost, yeah, so many I can't, think. But,
Did you go around the Southwest as well? And did you go beyond the Southwest at that point?
I think the farthest I went with theater is Chicago, to Chicago.
Maybe a lot of Arizona, New Mexico, Texas.
Yeah. Southwest a whole lot. Yeah. Denver, we go Denver a lot. People love us in Denver and New Mexico, Pueblo, Colorado, and Los Cruces, all kind of places. With Little Joe, we did the Tejano Music Awards
Mhm.
in El Paso or San Antonio, I mean, excuse me, and it was cool, man. the Tejanos loved tierra and their music. It was just, it was. We got to sit at the table with Selena's birthday. Oh,
So during that 21 years with Tierra, did Steve Salas come and go a bit?
yes. Well, see, that's the thing that's funny about the Tierra Legacy and the Tierra thing that's happening right now, and it's been happening for a while. There was actually two Tierras there. Stevie had his own
Right.
Tierra,
I
the
remember that.
original. It was called the original Tierra.
Right.
So when I first got in the band, people would say, "Well, what Tierra are you with?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, the real one. I don't know." I go the one with Rudy and doing the big gigs and selling merchandise and stuff like that. So it was funny because at first he wasn't. Then like I think maybe like 4 or 5 years into it, he came back and was there we were toured for like 5 years together. And so yeah, so it was nice to have him back, have that original voice back. Him and Billy just they worked together so great. It
I
was
remember.
it was amazing. Then Rudy would come in, it was amazing, man. They both complimented each other so well. Billy knew when to come in, Steve knew when to let. Like him and Mike Jimenez used to do too back in the day when Stevie was there.
Yeah.
So yes, I had the pleasure of playing with Mr. Steve Salas.
Quite the character too.
Yeah, he was. We were both pretty witty, man. He liked me because we could both kind of be real witty and make people laugh and make ourselves laugh and stuff. So that was kind of had that same trait. He's like, "Oh, you are like kind of like my brother." He used to tell me.
And you did a lot of those Latin legend shows with El Chicano and Malo and
Yeah, we would go and with War, Tower Power, whoever it would be, we'd go and just kick butt. People loved it so much. It was just so nice to be a part of something that that was so, that I grew up with, and to be a part of that, to even be called a Latin legend. I mean, it's just that was, I never thought I'd be a part of that, and,
uh,
and to be with all those great musicians and on those bills and just going touring around and just kicking butt. It was amazing for me. It was kind of like a dream come true.
which albums did you play on?
I was looking at the picture that I was going to send you a picture too. I think out of 15, I'm on six.
I'm trying to think of some of the ones in that period. Was that Dos Mundos at that period, or
Yeah,
was that
Dos
earlier?
Mundos. Um, yeah, I'd have to go look at that picture because they have them on there. Dos Mundos, I think, was the first one. And then Cafe East LA, On the Right Track. Uh, what was the other one? And two more. There was six of them. And the last one that we really worked on too. So like 6 out of 15 ain't too bad.
Pretty good.
I think I've earned my wings to say that I've represented Tierra, and say that I was there longer than most of the original, longer than the original members.
Yeah, probably
Like
true.
some of them were there 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years, like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys like David Torres and people like that.
yeah. A lot of personnel changes in that band, but
Yeah,
kept it strong.
always
Really
strong.
always kept it strong and
That's
going.
right. That's right. No doubt.
It's like for people to be so technical sometimes, because there's not all original members. Because people die sometimes, people go on and do different things. But if you hold that core together and represent, that's if you can represent the heart, then that's what it's about. You know,
Mhm.
if you close your eyes and it feels and sounds the same, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to remember when we met. I don't know when we actually met. Yeah,
20 something years. Where did
yeah,
that go by?
yeah. The first time I think we shared the stage was in 2002 at the Galaxy Theater in where is it, Santa Ana or somewhere down there.
Yeah, that was a cool venue. It
And
was like a rock venue, but they would have the Latin shows in there. A
yeah,
couple.
at the time I'd put a new band together. I hadn't had a band doing my original material in 10, 15 years. So I put together a band called Mark Guerrero and Radio Aslan. and
Yeah, I remember that.
we were on the bill with Tierra and Malo, the Galaxy in 2002, and you were there. And then a few months later, we were at the Hop with Malo and Tierra
Oh,
again, and then a little after that, there was a show at a minor league ballpark in San Bernardino
yeah,
during those fires. I remember there was some major fires
yeah.
going on like now. And it was quite a show because it had El Chicano, the Midnighters, Tierra, my group, Premiers, uh, East LA Review, a bunch of groups. I'll show the flyer. But so we
Yeah.
did a few shows together at that point, and I'm not sure exactly when we met, but I just know I've known you pretty darn well since around
Yeah.
2008 or something. I don't know.
We just kind of clicked together. We just kind of,
Yeah,
just
but
got
the
this.
big thing we did was the Trini Lopez special. Remember that?
Yeah, that was really fun. My mom was such a big Trini Lopez, and my family used to play his songs and at the parties and dance Lemon Tree. So I was kind of even just Google just meeting him, and then told him what a fan my mom was and my family, my uncles and aunties were. He's like he was such a gracious man. He was
Yeah.
really cool.
It was at the Orpheum Theater downtown LA,
Yep.
and it was filmed by PBS, and it was like something like 7 high-def cameras. It was quite a production,
Oh yeah.
and the show was El Chicano, Tierra, the Midnighters, uh,
And the Greg Raleigh
Greg
man.
Raleigh Band doing all the Santana stuff.
Actually, hold on.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'll show that on the screen very clearly right now as well. But that was it. And I got to sing Los Chucos Suaves with Tierra with you guys.
Yeah.
And I went to your rehearsal. We rehearsed just one one day we rehearsed, and I think we only went over the song 2 or 3 times. And then we did it at sound check, and then we did it on the air, and it came out perfect.
And we backed you up a couple times, no?
Yeah, the other time was in 2017 at Ami Hacienda in Pico Rivera.
Okay,
It
yeah.
was a
Okay.
Zoot Suit night.
I was even more than that.
Yeah, yeah, we did. We did those two things are both on YouTube. Me doing Chuco Suaves with you guys. Um, but so we got to know each other, and you started
Jamming with you at Las Consuelos and
coming
Palm
out to
Springs
Palm
this thing,
Springs
yeah.
and jamming and stuff. Yeah, and
Just
hanging out.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, so it was very cool. Getting back to the Trini special, it was called Trini Lopez Presents Latin Legends. And another thing about it that was cool was so many of our peers came in the audience, musicians, and they came backstage. So backstage,
Ella Reese was in the audience.
I remember that, yeah.
I looked there and I went, whoa.
But all the musicians that played the event were there, and then all our friends were back there. So it was like so much of the East LA music scene was backstage hanging out. It's a great night for all of us.
And Greg Raleigh, man, they sounded great.
Yeah, my God.
They had a great band.
And the La Bamba finale was very cool with all the singers. I was out there with them, and
Wilfredo was there playing drums from
Alfredo Reyes
Chicago.
on drums. Yeah, just a lot of great musicians.
I look back at it now. I just feel so blessed. At the time, you're enjoying it and thinking it's cool, but when you look back at it, it's like, wow, what an honor to play at especially that venue. It's what's how famous that venue and where it comes from, and to be with on the bill with all those different musicians. It's like, man, how lucky was I, you know?
And it even has more weight now because so many of the people have passed
Yeah,
who played there. Like Aaron, you know,
yeah. Trini, Trini's
Trini,
gone
the
too.
bass player. I keep forgetting his name.
Yeah.
Tierra's bass player. What's his name?
Steve Fowler,
Steve Follomere. Yeah.
Steve Fowler,
Uh, Bobby Espinoza is gone. Rudy
yeah.
Regalado.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But it's captured on film, and everybody played great that night. Everybody was awesome. It was fantastic.
yes, that was a bucket list
Yes, yes, it was.
for sure.
Um, so let's see some other places we played together. Um, Jerry Salas and I played before the screening of this PBS Trinity special. It was screened out here in Palm Springs, out in Indio, actually. And Jerry and I performed before the screening, and you just said, "Hey, I'll come up and play with you guys." So it was me and Jerry on acoustic guitars, and you were playing congas. Were we playing timbales too? I don't remember. Maybe.
No, I think it was just congas.
Yeah, in your
It was
Zoot
kind
suit.
of like a acoustic set type of
Yeah.
thing. That's what.
Then we did the Rudy's Baja Grill in East LA. Uh, I put a little band together, and we were on the bill with Salvador Santana,
Yep.
Carlos's son, who plays keyboard, and he was really good, really nice guy. And what was interesting was you didn't play a trap set, you played a cajon, but you put a snare and a hi-hat, and it was sort of a
Yeah, like
makeshift,
a hybrid type of thing
yeah,
that people are doing now. On those days, I thought I was kind of making it up, but I mean they have kits that are like that. But
yeah,
I just turned the cajon backwards and put a foot pedal, a kick pedal on
yeah,
there. Then I had a hi hat and a snare, congas, one cymbal, and some chimes,
yeah.
and to kind of cover both parts. And
And it worked out. It was fun, and
yeah,
we did a
it
nice little
was
set. That's also on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube these days. That was around 2012, I believe. Um,
yeah.
so, we've done a lot of shows together. We've played together. And before we get to the recording, we'll save that for a little later. Um, you were mentioning that, over the years you've played with a lot of other artists like El DeBarge. Tell me about that.
Yeah, no, another thing through, I mean, I give credit where credit's due. Another thing that Billy Madragon and Eric Madragon hooked me up. They were singing background with him, and Bobby Ross Avila was and Izzy Avila, the
Mm.
Avila brothers were producing or presenting him on Arsenio Hall show, and he asked me to play percussion. I was like, of course I will. So that was that was that was really cool. That was
Oh,
a
yeah. The Avila brothers, I know their dad,
yeah.
Bobby Avila Sr. In fact, we went to Garfield High School together way back in the
Oh
day. So,
yeah, man. And I remember Bobby when he was just a little kid, and he's come now. Both of them are producing Usher, and they did the Super Bowl thing. And this is
oh,
I
yeah.
seen him at the NAM show. Actually, he came up to me this last weekend. But yeah, and he's like, "Remember that show?" And I go, "Yeah, man, that was
Uh,
fun."
won Grammys
That
and
was one of the first times that I was on syndicated TV, television that went across, the United States. Besides the one I was telling you about, the Showtime
yeah.
Resurrection Boulevard, and I remember now it was the
Oh,
Westworld on HBO, and they had a Dia de Muertos scene, and me and Jorge Bermudez and Shallow was there as percussion, like we were the drummers in the band. That was another thing that was pretty cool. We got to go to makeup and do all that stuff and dress up like a cowboy with all painted face. It was just crazy. And those are the things that I think about now. It's like, man, how lucky could I be just to be able to say you did that, and
yeah,
be on television or HBO. It's just pretty cool. Something I would have never done if I wouldn't have moved to LA.
right.
It's those are the kind of things that can pop up, and if you're in the right place at the right time, like Sal says, boom,
Yep.
and you're prepared, you know.
Got to be prepared. Getting back to the Avila brothers, they've won Grammys. In fact, Bobby Jr. played at the White House, and
Yeah,
uh, I mean, they've done big time things.
they worked with Motown and stuff.
Yeah.
They're a very very talented family.
They produced Janet Jackson.
He was hanging out with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis at the NAM show.
Yeah, I got to meet one of those guys one time through Bobby Sr. We went over into their studio. So you mentioned you played with Ricky Martin. What was that about?
Yeah, was in Singapore actually with
Wow.
with Soto.
Oh, okay. Soto, another East LA
We
band.
were there for the 3 months, and one of the managers or something when we were playing at the High Regency out there saw us and just said, "Hey, we're gonna Ricky's gonna be out here, and we need a band to back him up on this couple 2 shows in Taipei and then Singapore. But Singapore was a MTV Asian video for Mi Vida Loca. It was at that time." It was like in 90, it was right before I got into theater, 99. That's when I came back from Singapore. That's when I got with theater. And, yeah, we got to back him up and did the whole set and everything. You know, I never really got to see that though. I wonder if I could go somehow and go on to uh, MTV Asia if it's even around anymore. But that was crazy. Oh my God. The women that were crazy and you peek your head outside of the stage and then go, they just think you're Ricky Martin. And they're like, no, I'm not. So that was kind of like first time I ever seen like crowds get crazy like that, for like Michael Jackson or somebody like that or Prince or something. They were at that time he was so hot, that
Yeah.
just he just did the Grammys and everything. So that was a cool time to be a part of that.
I saw you with Soto years later, recently, like 5 years ago or so, at Belvedere Park in East LA on
Yep.
that stage on the water. And they sounded
Yeah,
great. You guys sounded great.
I've been playing off and on with them since 97, somewhere around 98, 97, 98. Like right there around the time I was playing with Down with Three too. Because I had to earn my bones, or how they say it, or I had to earn my
Right.
dues, and get into that. I wasn't afraid to play top 40 or nothing. I didn't even know that theater thing was going to happen. I was just hoping something would happen. Just so when it did, it was like crazy. But I paid my dues. Playing the circuits.
Hmm.
For some reason, I was because of my Bay Area at Pete Escovedo, Coke Escovedo, R&B, Latin, Chicano style. It was different than most percussionists out here. So I guess I had a little something different to offer.
Did you play with Jorge Santana too?
Yeah, back in the Bay, yeah, we did some stuff with him. And sat in with Malo, Arcelio. Actually, Arcelio Garcia. When I was back go back when I was like 14, I think again there was a club. What's the club's name? I can't think of the name of the club off the top of my head though, but we would play there with the band that I was playing with. He would come in there and see us and stuff. And, and I was just a little kid. I would tell him, I go, remember when I used to play and I'd have to go in the back room at break time. I couldn't talk to nobody as soon as you got off stage. But there was this nice, cool little Latin club in Oakland. Man, I can't think of the name of it right now. That's where I first met him. Because we were so close in Oakland to the Mission District, so
Right.
and Winterland, and all that, and Santana, that whole scene, we were just like right there behind, 15, 20 minutes away, and we were trying to do the same thing as kids, to be like a part of that scene. So that's what I'm saying. From going like that to being, on the same bill with Malo and Tierra and Chicano and all the people that we wanted to be like was just like, surreal,
And
when that happened.
you've sat in with El Chicano as well, right?
Yeah, and War.
Or
They've called me up to sit in, song or two with them and, Arcelio, so I played with pretty much everybody that I would, really wanted to.
hmm talk about the Soul Train cruise.
Yep, got to do the Soul Train cruise. It was a couple years, like 2018 was like 20 other acts. It was like a 10-day cruise with the Commodores and Shaka Khan. Oh my God, who else was on there? Midnight Star. I mean, I can it was over at least 25 acts, I think, over a 10-day period. And I got to meet Don Cornelius' son. Was a really cool guy. That was quite the experience.
Did it go down to Mexico, or how far did it go?
Yeah, we went to where did we go? Cozumel. We went to the Bahamas.
Ah, wow.
Cozumel. Yeah, that was just I know they have these little 3-day ones, man,
Yeah,
but
this is a serious
oh,
cruise.
10 days. It's cool.
Right.
But you're about ready to come back after 10 days. But all the different acts that you could see when you weren't playing, you can kind of time it. You
Hmm.
know, and you get to go for free and get paid to do it. So you
That's pretty
can't
good.
beat that.
Mhm.
Think of that. The theater played on Soul Train back in the day.
That's
I was
right.
telling Don Cornelius' son about that. He goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." So that's a little tidbit there. It's American Bandstand, but they also, Solid Gold, they were on Solid Gold, American Bandstand, Soul Train.
Right.
A lot of history that people don't know about the other. I think that, there's a lot of accolades,
Oh my
besides just,
God. They backed up James Brown on a TV
yeah,
show. They were on the American Music Awards,
yeah.
played Carnegie Hall. I mean, amazing stuff.
I mean, I was there for 20 years or so, and what they did before I was just like, man, that's why I was like, wow.
But even
I'm,
before their hit around 81 or whenever that was, early 80s, they go way back before that to the early 70s to the original band. I went back, I was around when they formed then.
yeah,
So there've been so many major tierras,
I can't believe you had a record deal in the 60s,
Yeah. Yeah, my
and you're
first one's
still
65 and
here. Yeah.
but yeah, Tierra and I were recording in the same studio at the same time in 72, right?
Did you know when they were the Salas
Oh,
brothers?
absolutely, yeah.
They're like the Mexican Everly brothers.
Yeah, I first saw them 1964, Stephen Rudy singing with the Jaguars. They must have been like, 13 and 11 or something, like little kids singing great already,
Yeah.
professional and looking great in suits. I mean, they were already major professionals at that point. So I go that far back with Stephen Rudy. But anyway, so in recent years, you've been working with Tierra Legacy with David Salas, right?
I'm
He's
just
been,
glad to be where I'm at right now
yeah,
because the way things seem to have gone after Rudy passed.
yeah,
And I think I'm in a better place now than I was. So, because
yeah,
I know people sometimes ask me like, "What happened? How come?" And I
yeah,
don't try to get into that, but it's just things happen for a reason. Like like you say, sometimes people go, come, whatever. That was their choice, but I think I'm in a better place now, and I'm happy where I'm at right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, but I'm glad that I'm, still representing theater, still
yeah,
doing what I did with Rudy's band and and people are enjoying it. So I'm
yeah,
very grateful and blessed for that. But honestly, at my age, I didn't really think I would be playing this much really, At 67 years old, I just turned 67 and
yeah,
I thought maybe I'd be retiring by now or something, but I'm still got the strength and the ability to do it, so I'm going to keep doing it. So
yeah, man. So tell me about Bongo Funk.
that was just something that I started. I always wanted to have my own band because my dad had his own band. And I was like, one of these days I'm going to have my own band. Especially when I moved here to LA, I used to pick people. He's going to be in my band. That guy's going to be in my band. And geez, I've been in LA now 30 years. So it must have took 20 years being here before I just decided that, I'm going to do this. And just came up with a name and a logo and had a couple people that I wanted and just put a band together. It was, just something I always wanted to do. I'm a Latin player. I played the salsa music. I played, Latin rock. Being in Oakland, R&B was a big influence on me, and I really enjoyed playing funk and stuff. So it's like, I was trying to do a band that could do both Latin and funk, but it's hard to find players that can do both at that level.
Interesting.
So I had to kind of lean more towards the funk and just add a little bit of Latin in there. What I wanted to do, and Jesus, like 10 years later, it was like, man, where did the time go? It's not easy being a band leader.
Oh,
I
tell me about it.
get a lot of respect for band leaders, what they have to go through. It's like,
Not easy.
it's not easy. We're all
No.
sensitive and sometimes mean
Sometimes
and
egos.
happy and yeah. And so it's just like, but I'm glad that I done it and and I was able to keep it this long. I have a steady gig over at Kobe's Steakhouse every first Friday of the month. I've been there for 8 years. Kind of like, your engagements where you're there
Yeah,
for 20, 30 years.
yeah, you
Who would have
gotta
thought I had one steady gig for 8 years at one
having
place?
home gigs helps. You can do the other
Yeah,
stuff, but at least you don't have to live in a
yeah.
van by the river.
I had to be careful too because theater was touring and I couldn't really do, a whole lot of gigs with my band because,
Yeah,
then you get into the conflict. But, that one was able to keep steady and, doing other things, so I had to kind of balance that out. But, I wanted to come out from, I'm more than a percussionist, zoot suiter,
you've been singing more too, right?
yeah. So I sing and I rap and and
Dance.
I'm an entertainer. I'm a showman. I can be out front. I can handle a crowd and stuff. So I wanted to show people that part of that side of me too.
And you've done some recording, some videos, right?
Yes, I have like 3 videos out right now. Right now, my latest one is Ghetto Star, produced by Billy Madrigon, and this guy's been with me for a long time. And a video done by Peter Michael Escovedo, and I'm really, really proud of it. It's a song that I wrote. It's about growing up in Oakland and coming to Hollywood and becoming a ghetto star. It's kind of got its own little story to tell. The first one I did was called Bongo Licious, was with La Cima Music. Uh, Carlos Guion and
Right.
Pepe Marquez, they're working with Danny Trejo. So I was like one of the first artists on their label when they first started out. So you know, they helped me get that video together and
You put
help
out a
me.
record, you put out an EP or an album.
No, from that first video, then I just did a second video, "Stop to Start Over Again" with featuring me and Billy on a ballad by Blue Magic, and then the new one. But I've done a whole CD during COVID, but I haven't put like a whole CD out. I have 10 songs that I have, but I've been just putting out a single at a time because they say that's the thing to
Right.
do
Yeah,
now.
that's the new thing.
I would like to have something tangible though,
That's
so
nice.
I could give away as promotion or sell a few here and there. But people really don't, CDs is kind of the thing of the
You know, they're
past.
downloading now.
They even do like a 45 or something. They say they cost more than a single CD, just to do a single,
Oh yeah.
CD, one song on it or 2 songs on it. So, but yeah, no, I'm very proud to have done that and say that I started a band and I kept it for a good long time and I'm still doing it and still pushing and trying to be an artist by myself at my age. But hey, why not? You know?
Sounds good. I've seen the videos. So then, speaking of EPs, you performed on my latest EP, uh,
Yes, I did.
Southwest Serenade, A Journey Through Aslan. It came out late 2023, like December or something like that. And yeah, you came in and played all the percussion on all 4 songs. And I'm talking about timbales, congas, Indian drum, bells, chimes, shakers.
That was so fun. That was I love doing that. I always say doing recording, it's like making a baby or something. Like everybody's making this child that just gonna, see where it goes and stuff. And your producer in the studio where we're at, was such a, great vibe, great place to record and, try to give you what you wanted. It was a little challenging to me, but it all worked out, because you're a tight ship man. You don't take no, just yeah, that'll work. You want it the way you want it. That's good because I'm a perfectionist too, and I want to give the person what they want,
Yeah,
and I want to be able to stand proud of what I did too. So that was a great honor, man, to do that like that, and record together, man.
it was great. It was a lot of fun. Didn't you
Another
bring
thing that that when I'm old until I can remember that time, when I was
a
so all those memories, that you can look back on and musically is just, some of us are lucky just to have that be a part of their lives all of their lives, I've been playing for 55 years, you know.
Didn't you bring a rain stick in too? Didn't you bring that rain stick?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
beautiful for the intro of Pre-Columbian Dream. Worked out great.
What's his name? I can't think of his name.
Which
The
one?
guy who owned the studio,
Leon.
Leon. He gave me those Tibetan bells.
Oh, he gave you those Tibetan bells, man.
Yeah, those
And you used
they're
them
real.
again on our next session. Oh, good.
Yeah, I've used them on other things in some live shows that I've done where it calls for toys like that. It's so clear, just bing.
They look so cool too.
Yeah, it's,
Um, so I put it out on CD and I actually did vinyl and it does get expensive.
I guess because they don't do it anymore like that,
Yeah,
it costs more to
yeah,
do one. I thought it would have been cheaper for some reason.
yeah. I did 12-inch vinyl, but the thing with vinyl, the collectors like vinyl, so that's there's a little bit of a market for that. CDs
Yeah,
have become almost giveaways, a lot of
I
people don't even
know.
have CD players anymore. But
I know. And the cars don't have them unless you have an older
yeah,
car, and people don't really have CD player at home.
yeah,
So where do you
right.
where do you listen to it? Can you do they still have them when you can put them in your laptop, or you can't even do that?
I put wood on the laptop.
CD where you could
Oh yeah,
just
yeah. I don't even know if the new laptops have them. I don't know. And I
yeah,
know my desktop, I had to buy an external drive because they don't have
yeah.
CD drives in them
So
anymore. But
so
my album, my EP is available on download as well, and all the
and
different
now having to produce and
platforms.
promote your whole stuff is so hard.
No, it's crazy these days.
There's no record companies that
Yeah,
do it for you and help you. So if
totally.
you're not good at that, it's hard. I'm trying to promote my stuff, but then I'm trying to do music and do everything, and it's just like it's a lot. It's a lot. So if you
But
have
it's,
anybody in your corner, it's very, very, you know, going to be very grateful. I know you have some good people behind you that
yeah.
help you out do that.
But
It's,
it's what we do. We'll do it anyway, right? We love it. Recording, I just love recording, and it leaves your legacy. It's there permanently after you're gone. It's going to be there, so it's part of your legacy. So I just keep it going, man.
well, actually, Tierra Legacy's got we're working on a new CD or album, whatever you want to call it. So there'll be some new music coming out of that too. So
And thanks to the internet and social media, at least you can get it out in the world on YouTube. Regardless, you can get it on
yeah, I got
promoted on
like
Facebook,
38,000, 38K views for my video. Like, wow,
which will
and
probably earn
then
you three
people look at
dollars.
yeah, well, I don't know about the downloads. They're viewing it, but they're not downloading it and stuff.
But at
No,
least they're out in the world,
so
man. And you never know what's going to happen
yeah,
to them once they're out in the world.
something you could say, when you're gone, that there's still a piece of you going to be in a
Yeah,
yard sale or whatever,
I think wherever.
at an old record store or
But
somewhere.
that
You'll have
EP,
some other.
I'm really happy with it. It's virtually almost perfect to what I wanted. I'm completely happy with it. But in this day and age, there's very little you can do with it unless you have major backing. And so,
Yeah,
but like I said, I'm happy it exists. It's there,
yeah, that's
and
true.
wherever it
And,
goes, it
and
goes.
people want to see it. They know where to do it. Oh, I know. I wanted to mention too that I forgot because I was kind of going through some stuff today. I might have sent you a picture of that too. I made the Latin rock house in San Francisco. The House of Latin Rock, they call it.
Mhm.
It's a house with murals of Santana, Jorge Santana, Sheila, Pete Escovedo,
Mhm.
Arcelio, Rudy, and Steve. And I was honored to be put on there about 3 years ago,
Oh,
maybe something
nice.
like that. So I'm on on that mural. It's a beautiful. I don't. I think I might have sent you a picture. You maybe can put it up, but
Yeah,
it's
I
just a
will.
house with colorful color all over, but all the different artists that were somebody from the Bay Area that people looked up to. So I was pretty honored to be a part of that too.
Nice. Lastly, the other project we worked after we did my EP a year later or so, I started working on a project with my former manager, Art Brambilla, who was the original manager
Oh,
of
that's
Tierra,
that's that's right.
who was the original manager of Tierra, who was
Yeah,
their uncle,
yeah,
Stephen Rudy's uncle. Anyway, he's doing a new project that we just finished. We're just about finished with it. Two songs, a song that he wrote called The Stars of East LA, which is about the 60s and early 70s in East LA and the different bands.
yeah.
And he shouts out most of the bands and it's a real it's a doo-wop song, but it's kind of a love letter to the East Side sound and to old school music. And I helped bring in a lot of the musicians on the project, like the group Yaki. Played on the basic track. I played with them on the basic and
That
brought
goes
in
back.
like Greg Esparza on vocals, and I brought you in.
Yeah,
Um,
thank
some
you.
female vocalists like Jerry Gonzalez did it, Wee Rangel,
Oh, Jerry,
um,
she's so sweet.
Nancy Sanchez, a great young singer,
Yeah,
and Isela Sotela. But anyway, we had some great people. Bobby Navarrete played on it. See, I don't want to, the storytellers, George Ochoa. So many people from my era performed on it, and I brought in about at least half the people. But it's again, I love recording, I love creating, and it's been a lot of fun doing, and it's just about finished. And they wanted a percussionist, and that's why I recommended you, and you came in and played timbales and congas. and
Yeah,
uh,
that
and
was
percussion.
great to be a part of that. That whole scene and stuff. I wasn't there back in those days, but I'm glad to be a part of that.
And you
Because
came and you played. Then you had to come another day to play weed on the second song. You had to come all the way. In fact, I picked you up to
yeah.
play Guido on that second song. But
Well,
it's a great project. It'll be out in a few months, and it sounds great.
so even though I'm from the Bay Area, I can say I'm part of the East LA
Oh, you
sound.
are definitely,
You know, for
definitely.
the
You played with
most
Tierra
many
and
years
stuff.
as I put in, I feel like I'm part of, of that,
You are
and
totally, yeah,
it's
absolutely,
like it's a good feeling.
yeah,
But yet I have Bay Area lineage, too.
yeah.
So it's it all works out.
Two Latino cities, and I always say they're like parallel universes because they're different musicians, slightly different styles. You got
Well,
East
East
LA,
Oakland, East LA, East
Mission
Oakland, East
District,
LA.
right? Mission District,
Yeah.
East LA, they're parallel
It
universes.
was it was all part of that, West Coast sound that,
Yeah.
that we create, California created. It was
And it's interesting because most of the Latinos in the East Side Sound were Mexican Americans, Chicanos, but up there you had more other, Latino groups. You had Chicanos, but you had people probably from Puerto Rico and maybe Cuba and maybe
yeah.
Central
There
America.
was a lot of people that moved there to San Francisco that, taught a lot of different people, And then Oakland on my side, Sly Stone and David Vega was my friend who played with Graham Central Station. So, Tony. I mean, so I got a lot of, that's where I got a lot of the R&B from, where I came from too. I mean,
Tower
hometown
Power.
people, Tower Power. Yeah. I mean, when I first played on stage with them at the Greek, I saw David Garibaldi. I was just like, oh my God, this is not real. Because like them and Santana when I was a kid were like my two favorite bands. I remember seeing Tower Power at a recreation center in Oakland and Montclair for like $1.25 or something like that, or some ridiculous price. And then they would play Jack London Square, and nightclubs over there, which I wasn't old enough to go to at the time. But Tower Power, man, oh my God, that's
Unreal.
that's this, but that mixed in with the Latin and everything, it's like it's it's beautiful thing to be a part of our era where we saw the 60s, the 70s, the 80s,
Exactly.
the 90s. I mean, we've been so blessed to see how things have progressed and still be a part of it and still be, in the mix. You know, we
Pretty
were,
amazing. Did you ever get to go to Fillmore West? Or were you too
yeah,
young? I used to
Fillmore
go up
West.
there and see people like Steve Miller up there and Chuck Berry, and
Oh yeah.
I saw a couple of shows up there.
Winterland was the place though.
Yeah,
That's where
I never got there.
I met Santana there, and I think my first was not Benny King, but Benny King and somebody else there. It was like a first concert when I was like in fifth grade or something like that. It was like ridiculous. Uh, but I saw the Funny All Stars there. I saw Journey there, like on Tuesday night when Journey first started, and I saw the Funny All Stars were there a few times. And
Well,
just any of anybody who came through, Bill Graham with Winterland.
and of
And the
course,
Greek Theater over in Berkeley too. They used to have like a annual Cinco de Mayo concert that theater used to play, with Willie Colon and three salsa bands, and then they'd have theater, Malo or El Chicano or something come in there, or Azteca might have been there and stuff. So seeing theater back then in those days and just thinking, wow, and then like then to be a part of it later on, it's like, man, you got to pinch yourself. Like how does that work? How did the stars align? For to
yeah,
happen.
to me, as you get older and you look back on your life, you notice that almost everything just kind of happens. You can work and be prepared, but it's the universe that kind of makes things happen, and you're just kind of on the bus as a passenger.
Just like it's not like South said, how did he get into war? Some people that you don't hear about auditions or you just happen to be at the right place at the right
Yeah,
time. And,
yeah, that kind of
look at him. He's like, hey, can I just come in and sit in?
smart
I
move.
did that when I came in out here. I was like, I'll play for free, and they're like, what? Because I was a chef. I didn't really need the money, but I wanted to get my name out there. And once they saw me play, they're like, oh, this guy deserves to get paid.
Yeah,
you know. But you got to do what you got to do to, get your foot in the door like
That's
that and
right.
stuff. So,
Yeah, you're talking about Sal
uh,
Rodriguez, the drummer of War for the
yeah,
last 34 years, and he was my previous guest to you. And I think you just saw part of
yes,
that show today, right?
yeah, yeah. So
But
I was kind of doing my homework so I can make
yeah,
sure, I'm doing a
but
good job for you here.
that worked out for me. He just said, "Hey, I'll come and play for free." And next thing you know, 34 years later, he's still playing with him. And boy, is he a great drummer. I've been watching some of the videos lately of them.
Yeah, yeah.
They just played in at Venice Beach a week or so ago. My God, what a drummer he is, man. And what a band they are.
I know. I'll see him at one place, and then Christmas. I saw him one place out here. Next day, he was playing the Christmas parade, the
Oh yeah.
Thanksgiving Day parade in the rain. And I was like, man, wasn't he just here in LA like yesterday? And he was over there. They tour a lot though. They go to
Oh yeah.
places that a lot of Latin bands don't go. They
Yeah.
do blues.
International.
know, yeah. So their shows are with a lot of different type of artists that
Mhm.
sometimes we kind of stay with our same little thing, but which I'm okay with. But
Yeah.
they're very versatile in their audience, and
Yeah.
who like to come see them.
They're embraced by the Latino community because they're so Latin too, Lowrider, Cisco Kid. I mean, they got that Latin vibe too. Plus the R&B
Yeah.
and the funk.
Yes, sir.
So
They're part of the scene.
that's it, man. So I think we covered everything. Can you think of anything else
Um,
that you'd like to say?
I hope people enjoy it, and get to know me a little bit better. And because sometimes you don't really get a chance to talk to people at at shows. You get to say hi, take a picture, or whatever,
Exactly.
sign an autograph and stuff. But if you're lucky, you might be able to have a drink with somebody or something, get to know. But this is more of like an in-depth, you
Yeah.
know, you know, who I am, where I came from, and not all of it. One day I hope to have my own memoir.
Yeah, there you go. It's your
Yeah,
story. It's your story.
yeah. I always said that would be a good name of a song called "What's Your Story." Don't forget to let me know when that East LA thing comes out, man.
Oh,
Hopefully,
I will.
something
Definitely.
will
Yeah.
come of that, and and
Should be
put
pretty
some
soon.
put some shows together or
Yeah, I
something.
might be able to play a few shows to support it. I know there's going to be a release party soon. I'll invite you to that. It'll
Oh,
be
okay,
somewhere in
yeah,
LA.
yeah. I would be love to be a part of that, man.
Okay.
That would be very cool.
Okay, man. Well, thanks, Dale, and I'll see you soon.
All right, Mike, you have a good time. Just keep playing. I know you're busy in Palm Springs. Keep doing what you do, man.
And if you ever need some R&R, come out here and we'll hang, like we've done before many
I
times.
I definitely will.
Okay, man. Take
I'm
care.
due for a Palm Springs trip.
I know. I think you are. Take care,
All
man.
right, man. Peace.
Bye-bye.